Good morning, beloveds. So it got up to like 75 yesterday, promptly dropped. We had a storm come through. All we got was a whole lot of rain, and not even as much rain as we probably needed. And then it dropped into the 30s. Now, by tomorrow, it's going to be back in the 70s for 2 days, and then it's going to drop back into the 30s. These weather extremes. Yeah. Chico is... I didn't even realize Chico was in here, and this is Chico. Let's see. Chico is the big orange with the white stripes, who immediately turns away from the camera. You can see the white paws. Rita does not have the white paws. So, all right. But Chico and Rita are siblings. They're both enormous cats. He is 11 pounds. And tall, and Rita is 14 pounds and barrel chested. So, all right. Where are you going? Where are you going? I have work to do. Here, can you put your paws here? Can you put your paws there? There we go. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, this is an enormous book and an enormous cat. All right. It is January 9th. Our title is The Highest Idea of God, and our author is Malinda Elliot Cramer, published in Present at the Beginning from 2004. Now, Malinda Cramer this was written in 1890, but it was published in Present at the Beginning. I believe Malinda Cramer is divine science. It doesn't explicitly say, but I think so. You can double check me. Google her. So, all right. Jesus was the highest idea of God visible to the senses, and the Christ is the divine principle manifested by Jesus, which accentuates and controls all things. Jesus the Christ, as revealed in Christian Science, is the sense of dominion, the will and power of God in everyone, lifting humankind above the thraldom of the senses and reestablishing them in their normal conditions, having absolute dominion over all things. Thou hast put all things under their feet. Human is the idea of God, the concept of the eternal mind, coexistent and co-eternal with it. We believe that the only absolute healing power is then demonstrated by our elder brother Jesus, and that to follow in Jesus' footsteps, casting out evil and healing the sick, is the coming to Jesus, the straight and narrow way, which leads to eternal life. This healing power is mind. There is no life, substance, or intelligence, but that which is spiritual, and that which but that which is spiritual, and that the salvation of humanity, as taught by Jesus, is in the consciousness of supremacy and omnipotence of God, and the impotency of evil, any opposite to God. Okay. All right. So I think I'm wrong. Malinda Cramer must be Christian Science. And that was a little difficult. Partly because of the subject matter, and then the cat didn't help either. All right. Oh, Lord. Okay. Highest idea of God. So, Science of Mind, absolutely, new thought, Science of Mind teaches that Jesus is the great example. One of the things where we frequently get into trouble, I would say we get in crosswise with our Christian brethren, our Christian siblings, is that frequently Christian teachings teach Jesus as the great exception. Okay? As opposed to what we do is we teach Jesus as the great example. we firmly believe that we can follow Jesus's example. That because Jesus said, all these things and more all these things that I have done and more ye shall do. All right. So we say, okay, well, Jesus said that we can do this. What we have to do is come fully into the Christ consciousness, which is why she says that Jesus was the highest example of God visible to the senses. Okay. Jesus is the best example. What a lot of the Christian teachings out there say that he's the exception. It's like, no matter how good you think you're going to be, you're never going to be as good as Jesus. And where we find that problematical is because a whole lot of people are going, well, if we're never going to be as good, why do we even bother to try? So, and that's why we say, no. He's the example. We absolutely can live up to him. And we should try. At which point then Yoda goes, do or do not, there is no try. So Jesus the Christ, as revealed in Christian Science, is the sense of dominion, the will and power of God in everyone. Okay, so the Christ consciousness is our connection to God. Every single one of us is connected to God all the time. Absolutely all the time. We have an infinite connection, and we have a connection to an infinite source. And whatever it is that we need will be supplied to us infinitely if we are willing to accept it. I talk about the Christ consciousness like software just because it makes the most sense to me. My mother is an electrical engineer. It's factory settings. The Christ consciousness is who we are, what we are. Everything else has been added. And sometimes, and you'll see it a lot, what we do as adults is we peel off all of the stuff that we've been taught that isn't true. And we peel back to the Christ consciousness. All right. Humanity is the idea of God, the concept of the eternal mind, coexistent and co-eternal with it. All right. We were made by God, of God, for God. We believe that only the absolute healing power that is demonstrated by our elder brother Jesus, and that to follow in Jesus' footsteps, casting out evil and healing the sick, coming to Jesus, the straight and narrow way which leads to eternal life. That sentence doesn't make sense. And that's where sometimes in New Thought we're like, okay, I would tell you, how many paths are there to God? How many people are there in the world? That's how many paths there are to God. Okay? Everybody has their own path to God. There is no one path to God. Now, there are signposts. There are guideposts. There are lights. We can hold our light up to light each other's paths. And Jesus is the biggest light. And you would do well by following his example. All right. The healing power is mine. There is no life, substance, or intelligence, but that which is spiritual. That sentence is a little weird. Like, there's no life, there's no intelligence, there's no substance. Yes, there is. But all of it is spiritual. All of it is spiritual. There is not a spiritual. And that's one of those things where science of mind and Christian Science deviate. We don't believe evil is a power in and of itself. Okay? Because that's dualistic. We believe that evil is the misuse of good. It's like electricity. The power of God is like electricity. Okay? You can use it to power your home, or you can use it to power an electric chair. The electric chair is evil. The powering your home is not. but it's not the electricity that made the choice. It is the operator of the electricity. So, it means that we need to choose better. Now, how am I going to get a mission out of this? I'm not entirely sure. Christian Science always makes me scratch my head. I have to work for Christian Science, and that's a good thing. There should always, you should have to work, you should work for this. Because you want to come to a deeper understanding. You want to come to a deeper understanding of what the author is guiding you to, which is a deeper understanding of yourself, and it's a deeper understanding of the source of your own being, or as Reverend Jesse likes to call it, the divine nature. All right. Okay. So the salvation of humanity, as taught by Jesus, is in the consciousness of the supremacy and omnipotence of God. Which I would say is that your salvation is in recognizing that God is all there is. And that you are sourced from God. Okay? You want a mission today? That is your mission today. To recognize where your salvation comes from. Your salvation comes from knowing who the source of your being is, which is God. All right? And Jesus is the best example. Not the only example, but the best example. But also, in the Western mindset, it is the one we are the most familiar with. Okay? There are good examples in other parts of the world too. So don't get bound up in Jesus being the only example. All right? Desmond Tutu is another really good example. The Dalai Lama is another really good example. Any one of the Buddhas are really good examples, because what they did was they connected to the source of their own being and lived their life that way. One of my favorite books is the Book of Joy, written by the Dalai Lama and Reverend Tutu. In both cases, or in the case of this book, they connected to the source of their own being. So, if you want to talk about salvation, connect to the source of your own being. That's where your salvation lies. And it doesn't come in the fancy words and the fancy names of all the rest of the religions. It's about you knowing who God is and who God is to you. All right. Yes. That's the mission today. The other mission I give you is the same mission I give you every day, which is to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Whatever that looks like. Be it big, be it small, it doesn't matter. Point is to practice on yourself. Point is to practice on yourself. And then I'm supposed to give you a couple of examples. Take a deep breath before you speak is my favorite one. It's easier to not say it than to apologize for having said it. So take a deep breath before you speak. Therefore, you give yourself that pause. And you also speak to yourself more than you'll speak to anybody else. Why not speak lovingly, kindly, and compassionately to yourself? Monitor your self-talk. And if you find your self-talk is getting out of bounds, do something about it. I also highly encourage you to take a walk, take a nap, take a break. That pretty much covers the loving, kind, and compassionate. The walk is an exercise, gets the blood flowing, gets the blood moving, oxygenates your brain. And sometimes you just need to walk away from whatever it is that's going on. Take a nap. None of us get enough rest. So you know how I feel about that. Take a break. Sometimes when we are working on things and we get stuck, if we go do something else, we can come back with a fresh perspective. Loving, kind, and compassionate. This doesn't mean we don't do the hard stuff. It just means when we do the hard stuff, we do it lovingly, kindly, and compassionately. Because one of the other things that is loving, kind, and compassionate is no. Yes. Saying no to something that is draining for you. Something that you don't want to do anyway. If you're going to do it resentfully, then the best thing you can do is say no and let somebody else do it. And remember that no is a complete sentence. Okay? You don't have to justify why you're saying no. But I do want to remind you, loving, kind, and compassionate also includes saying yes, especially to something that pushes you a little out of your comfort zone. That will, the idea is that generally whatever your heart's desire is just on the other side of your comfort zone. So say yes, especially if you're in a supportive community that will help support you through this. All right, beloveds. There are so many other things. I just want to give you a couple of jumping off points. Let me know in the comments what some other loving, kind, and compassionate things that you can do for yourself are. I'm always looking for new suggestions. I also want to remind you, one of the loving, kind, and compassionate things you can do is eat dessert first. Sometimes I literally mean that. I believe chocolate is the first step to fixing anything. However, it means don't save the good stuff. Don't wait for a special occasion. Make the occasion special. Frequently, we wait for the special occasion and then the people we want to share it with can't be there for a variety of reasons, including they are no longer with us. Your life is a special occasion. Treat it as such. Don't save the good stuff. And I'm going to remind you that joy is a quality of God. Remember how I referenced the book of joy? Well, joy is a quality of God. Therefore, joy is a quality of you. No matter what is going on in the world, no matter what is going on in your life, you still deserve joy. Please make room for joy. All right, the rest of the suggestions are basic self-care. Do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like for you. Drink plenty of water. You know how I feel about hydration. It's as important in the dead of winter as it is during the peak of the summer. And for the same reasons. In the peak of the summer, we're sweating and get dehydrated. In the peak of the winter, the heat's running all the time and everything is dry. We get dehydrated. Drink plenty of water. Your brain works better, your skin works better, skin looks better, and your brain, your body works better. I'll get it out eventually. And get that early in your day bright light. Today, I did get my sunshine. It was cloudy and rainy yesterday, but the sun is back out today. In fact, the cat is thoroughly enjoying the sunbeam right now, and I'm thoroughly enjoying watching him enjoy the sunbeam. 5 to 10 minutes of bright light between 7 and 9 in the morning if you're using sunlight. If you're using artificial light, do it in your schedule. But 5 to 10 minutes of bright light early in your day will help to reset your circadian rhythms, which is a natural hormone cycle. You'll have more energy during the day. You'll sleep better at night. Try it. You might like it. And if you need more help than the light in your house is giving you, Google sun lamp or seasonal effect disorder lamp. Okay? All right. And then the last one is my Ernest Holmes quote. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you that you live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. What does that mean? Heaven isn't a place. It is, as one of our other authors said, she was quoting Ernest Holmes. Heaven isn't a locality, okay? It is a state of mind. It is a state of consciousness. Once you learn to create that heavenly mindset, you want to talk salvation, there it is. Because once you learn to create that heavenly mindset, any place you are can become heaven. And that comes from knowing the source of your being. Or take Emma Curtis Hopkins' advice, look for the good and praise it. All right? Which is a fancy way of saying count your blessings. Gratitude absolutely will get you everywhere. If you are having, if you are struggling with your mood, gratitude, look for 5 to 10 things, little things, big things, it doesn't matter, that you are grateful for. Every day you get up and you pick 5 things and they have to be different. You can't use the same ones every day. Will change your mood. I watched it work. It is homework that I frequently give, so try it. You might like it. All right. Yep, there I am. Okay, because I said Emma Curtis Hopkins. So I'm going to remind you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark on the social medias that we are on. I am the Running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. I commend to you the YouTube channels. There's hours of content on both of the YouTube channels. You can absolutely find whatever it is that you might need on either of the YouTube channels, including I read this thing called You, which if you talk to, probably if you polled Science of Mind ministers of the Ernest Holmes books, this thing called You is definitely in our top 5. It is my favorite Ernest Holmes book. So I commend it to you. I found out there was not an audio version of it, so I made one. All right? It's on both YouTube channels. Feel free to look for it. All right. Where was I going? I don't know. But I guess I'm at the part, the email. Email info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact. So if you want to know what the center's up to, you get one email a week, and the hot links are hot. Click here now, take you right to the information you want, such as the YouTube playlist, or to the person who can help you get it. All right. I am now at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a salvation day, a get to recognize Jesus as an example day, a follow in Jesus' footsteps day, a know who you are day, a peel back the layers day, a good day, and if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You're a beloved child of God, in whom God is well pleased and well represented. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. Get to know the truth of your being. Or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are godly. All right, beloveds. As I like to say, get to know the truth of your being. That's what our author today is about, Malinda. She's like, know who you are. Know who you, or as Sandy Newkirk likes to say, whose you are. Who created you? God created you. All right? Get to know the person that God knows. Peel back the layers of everything that you have been told you are and get to know who God knows you to be. Because I can promise you one thing. The person that God knows is good. And probably pretty cool. All right, beloveds. I'm going to remind you, Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time.